The night sky glowed an unnatural orange as flames chewed through the old cabin, sending sparks spiraling into the wind like desperate cries for help, and Clara ran barefoot across the dirt, clutching her baby to her chest, choking on smoke and prayer, begging the darkness to spare them. Her heartbeat pounded louder than the fire behind her, every step a plea, every breath a fight, and though she didn't know where to go, she knew she had to get away from the cabin she once called home, the same cabin now collapsing under the weight of violence and fear left behind by the man who claimed to love her. The smoke burned her eyes, her lungs screamed, and the earth beneath her feet felt like it was tilting, ready to give way, when suddenly the ground shook with the sound of hooves thundering from the tree line. A lone rancher, tall, broad-shouldered, and riding like he was racing death itself, came barreling into view, his hat low, jaw set, and eyes fixed on her as if he'd been searching for her long before this fire lit the sky. She stumbled, nearly fell, and that was when he leapt from his horse as if gravity meant nothing to him, landing hard but running toward her with the kind of determination only men who have already lost too much ever learn. "Ma'am," he shouted, voice steady despite the chaos around them. "Don't stop. Keep moving." But Clara couldn't. Not anymore, because the last of her strength slipped away, and the baby cried out, tiny and terrified. As she collapsed to her knees, the rancher caught her just before she hit the dirt, one strong arm bracing her back, the other steadying the child she clung to like her final heartbeat. Embers drifted past them like angry stars, and a burning support beam from the cabin snapped loose, tumbling toward them with a roar, and in that split second, the rancher wrapped his body over hers, shielding her entirely. The flaming beam crashed into the ground inches away, sparks exploding like gunfire. Clara squeezed her eyes shut, not sure whether she'd live to open them again, but the rancher's voice cut through the chaos, low and firm. "You're safe. I'm not letting anything happen to you or this little one." She looked up at him, vision blurry, but the sincerity in his gaze steadied her trembling world. He gently lifted her, supported her weight with effortless strength, and carried her toward his horse while the cabin behind them groaned then collapsed in a storm of fire. Clara's legs wouldn't hold. Her body had been pushed far beyond exhaustion, but the rancher's arms remained steady, his grip secure, as though fate itself had appointed him her protector. When he set her on the saddle and climbed up behind her, his chest shielding her and the infant from falling cinders, his words reached her again, softer this time, close enough that she felt them in her bones. "I ain't gonna let your story end in flames. Not tonight, not ever." As he guided the horse away from the inferno, Clara's breath shook, tears cutting clean paths down her soot-covered cheeks. Why did you come?" she managed to whisper. The rancher hesitated only a moment before answering, "Because I saw smoke. And because no one deserves to face hell alone." They rode through the dark until the fire was only a distant glow behind them, and gradually Clara began to feel the world settle, the baby asleep in her arms, her heartbeat slowing as the terror faded. When the rancher finally stopped near a quiet stream on the edge of his land, he dismounted and helped her down as gently as if she were made of fragile glass. Clara sagged against a tree, still shaking, still trying to understand how the world had changed so fast. He grabbed a canteen, brought it to her lips, and waited until she drank enough that her breathing steadied. "What's your name, ma'am?" he asked quietly. "Clara," she whispered. "And this is my son, Eli." The rancher nodded. "Beautiful name. Both of 'em." She blinked in surprise. You think Eli is beautiful?" His smile was small but warm. "Ma'am, he's the strongest fighter I've ever seen. Survived something most grown men wouldn't." Clara felt a warmth spread through her chest, strange, unfamiliar, yet comforting. For months she had felt invisible, bruised, broken, but in this moment she felt seen. The rancher crouched next to her, his voice steady but filled with an emotion he didn't try to hide. "Clara, you don't have to tell me what happened. Not now, but I want you to know something." He paused, then gently touched her hand, not claiming it, not gripping it, simply offering it. "You ran through fire to save your child. That makes you braver than you think. And as long as you're on my land, no one lays a hand on you. No one." Clara had tried so hard to be strong alone. She had run until the world burned behind her. But the moment he said those words, the moment he looked at her like she was someone worth saving, her breath caught in her chest. She looked at his hand, rough from work yet warm with promise, and when she placed her trembling fingers into his, the weight of fear she carried finally loosened. "Thank you," she whispered, but the rancher shook his head. "Don't thank me yet," he said softly. "Just rest. I'll keep watch." And for the first time in so long, Clara believed him. She leaned back against the tree, the firelight long gone, replaced by the quiet strength of a man who had appeared at the exact moment she needed him most. A man who didn't ask for anything, who expected nothing, who simply refused to let her fall. As the night settled around them, Clara drifted into an exhausted sleep, knowing her life had changed forever the moment he grabbed her hand and said he wouldn't let her story end. And dear viewers, if you want more stories of courage, destiny, and the wild hearts of the West, don't forget to subscribe. Your support helps bring these powerful tales to life.